Well, Grant, it's another episode of this session. It's, of course, our 5-10 cash game. Masks on, and we're doing bomb pots every orbit.
Yeah, but not just any bomb pot, Jonathan. Omaha bomb pots, which means that we don't know what's going on.
It's
and our
called
commentary is useless.
Break the Commentators as fast as possible.
We don't know anything. We might as well be talking about the local elections in Florida's 9th District. We know nothing about it.
Some people would argue that's what we've basically been doing anyway for the last 3 years on this show. But, you know, those people can go jump in a lake. Anyway, here's Chris with Queen Jack suited.
And Todd calling with 10-3 not suited.
Wow.
So Todd lost some big pots recently, and I think Todd's a bit of a tilter, as this cannot be a play that is involved in any strategy, right? This is not a good thing to do.
Todd's really gone way off the deep end on that one. He does flop a gut shot, but of course it would be no good. It'd be a disaster to get there. Todd doesn't take a shot either. I'm surprised he doesn't bet when it's checked to him.
So Todd was calling with 10-3 off to hit.
Yep.
And
is he going
to
wait?
Oh, he's going to raise. Well,
okay,
there's some nuance to his play.
That's cool.
It's not a good story. Like, what are you raising on the turn that you didn't bet on the flop?
I mean,
he's saying he has just a queen.
No, he's saying it's 9-10. He's claiming the nuts, basically, right? Queen 6 suited. I mean, you're right. There's not a whole lot there. This is an easy call for Chris, of course, with the queen. It's weird too. Todd is raising when the board doesn't favor his range as much as when he could have bet on the flop when it did favor his range. Well, unless Todd had
pretend. I guess he's saying he had a
8-7,
7,
8-7, 6-6. Chris hasn't called yet.
And didn't bet the flop. That's the problem with this story, is that he didn't bet the flop.
It's got to be 9-10.
Value range. It's just super trappy value range that most people aren't going to believe. And I think this should be a call for Chris if he puts it together.
The problem, too, is Todd just doesn't really have a lot of money here. So, yeah, there's the call. Yep. Raising to 150 and then shoving 310. If Chris has top pair, he's going to just feel obligated to call here because Todd could be doing it with the top pair hand, right? Like Queen 10 could do this, I guess, just trying to get it in.
I mean, that's not what I would be thinking about. I would just be thinking this story is bunk. This is a bunk story.
No, I agree with you, but I'm saying when Todd is that short and we've seen him play so many hands, it's possible we might think he's doing it with any top pair. And if we know he's wide with all the queens, which I guess he is, you know.
Yeah, I've just been waiting until break to rebuy.
Yeah, I think that's probably secondary to his apparent tilt level. And that hand is exemplary of how sometimes things can go poorly in poker, and your reaction to how those things go, especially in a cash game for the most part, can have a huge impact on your overall winnings and losses in the end, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, just like that, Todd's out another, $500 and change there. When he didn't have to play that hand at all. And in fact, almost no one would have.
That's correct. And I don't think Todd would have had he not been tilting. So it's a great example of how it's important to mediate your emotions when you're playing poker, especially in a deep stack cash game or in the deep stack portions of a tournament.
I mean, it's poker as in life, really, right? Like, Laymaner wins with the queens. Chris limp folded from under the gun with King 10 off.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I'm surprised. Why would you limp fold that hand? Like, if you're going to limp it...
Are you sure he limped? I think he opened because it was 200 with the queens.
He just put out a $10 big blind just now.
Yeah, but are you sure he limped?
Oh, okay. I was just reading the... that must be what it was. That makes so much more sense. Yeah. Okay, and also, he's not the kind of guy who's doing that stuff, so that makes sense. Okay, good. I feel better
also,
already.
It'd be fine to limp fold if the guy made it 200, even if you put 10 in. It's fine to limp fold.
Of course. It said that Laminator made it 50, though, on the graphics. So
I thought I saw 200. Maybe I'm
wrong. Well, maybe I got it wrong then. Okay, I thought they were saying Laminator made it 50, and it's like, well, you can't fold for 40 more. But 200 more, of course you can. Laminator raising again. Continue to put the pressure on. Actually, Laminator's calling. Wheels raise.
You see Todd in the background there calling his life coach, trying to get it back together.
Hey, let's keep it. Let's be nice to Todd now. Come on. See, 10-3 offsuit
Having
would have been a
life coach
monster.
is a good choice. What are you talking about?
Chris flops very well. No one else has anything. Bill's got a couple of back doors. To raise or to call. You can't really beat anything if you're raising and he doesn't fold, right? Like, I mean, you can beat pocket pairs, I guess. He does raise. Hard to get much more value after he c-bets anyway, I guess.
Wheel can get sticky at weird times. We've seen it before.
That's true.
It's uncommon, though.
They are relatively deep. He does have two back doors in position. It's not insane to call here for $90. Looking to see if you can hit a good turn card. But he lets it go, which on a paired board probably is the best choice.
I think that is the right choice.
Chris just in a tough spot there with the no kicker 10, where when you raise and get called, okay, sometimes a pocket pair will call you, but all the 10s, of course, are never going to fold, and you're just putting money in dead pretty much. And you're going to fold out a lot of things by raising. But if you call, usually it's going to go check on the turn anyway. It's just hard to get any more money out of that hand.
I mean, if he wants to have a check raising bluffing range out of the big blind against a late position opener, it's fine to check raise all of your trips there, I think. Because you can have all the 10s, obviously you have 10 deuce, so if you want to be able to bluff some, I think it's okay to also check raise 10 deuce there.
Well, I just think 10 deuce is the worst 10 possible. And so that's the question I have about it versus some of the slightly better 10s at least. But it just depends on how much you're going to check raise there as a bluff, I guess.
Yeah.
Here we go. Nice normal
Todd.
Hands.
Todd is rebot. He's ready to get back in the action.
He has a reasonable hand as well.
Yep. Not a good flop for him, though. Not really a good flop for anybody.
Laminator with middle pair. Chris with an overpair to two of the cards. And Todd will bet the Jack 10 for no real reason. However,
He's repping something. I mean, if he bets again, it's going to get through a lot of the time. The 7s fold.
yeah, for $20, the 7s just get rid of it. A little tight. Goes check on the turn. So Todd has given up. See if he can hit a Jack or 10 on the river. No, very close though. Because it was paint. And Todd just gives up.
Yep.
Well, at least, he could beat some draws. A few draws. All the straight draws that aren't ace high. There's not much there, okay?
Oh, it looks like it's bomb pot time.
Okay, get your frickin', brain hat on because it's time to try and figure out what the hell everybody has before, we've already on to the next street. Here we go. Here we go. We've already
It's
seen.
easier if somebody just flops the nuts.
Yeah,
it's easier
that'd be
that way.
We've already seen Chris get away from the second nuts on the flop correctly earlier in the session a few episodes ago. Just middle set. Just bet. I think he raised folded middle set. It was pretty sweet.
Got some decent-ish Omaha hands so far that we've seen.
Well, Dan Ross, he has trip threes, but he's in trouble because Chris has top full house.
Yep. So nobody flopped the nuts, but somebody flopped the effective nuts because we know nobody can have quads. Makes it easier.
Wheel with an overpair into 6 decides to bet. This is not going to end well for him.
No, it is not.
I guess it could come
There
running.
are 2 clubs on there as well. Laminator does have
yeah.
2 clubs, but they're bad.
He just gets rid of it. I like that. Nice play. Jake may have to call with the king jack of clubs and jacks. Looks like Jake was getting ready to fold, but can he really just fold this? Yes, he can. Look at that. He wants to just, he knows.
Chris not only
not-
has the 6s full, he also has clubs blocked, which he actually doesn't want to have right now.
Yeah.
He does not want to be blocking clubs because he wants somebody to make a flush.
But if someone makes a flush, then they could both turn. They get it all in, and Chris could turn over the 10 of clubs, and the guy with the nut flush thinks he won for a second. That's the best part of it.
Yeah, that's so fun.
So Dan Ross gets away from his 3 right away, by the way, on the flop without putting a single dollar in. What a deal for Dan Ross.
Now, if the case 6 or the case queen comes, Weil will actually win.
Well, Weil
not
can't win
case
because
queen,
there's no 6s left in the deck. So Weil can't win with the case 6. Chris has the last 2 6s.
Correct.
But a
He did
9
a
or a
queen,
queen.
though.
A 9 or a queen will do it. Except that's not true either. It's only a 9.
No, it's not.
It's
No,
only
it's
a 9.
not.
A
It's
queen,
only a
queen, you're right. A queen will do it. You're right, because queen's full of
Yeah.
6s. My bad. It's hard
Only
to keep
queen.
track, man. Omaha's hard. We're hold'em guys. We didn't ask for this. Anyway, that queen really brings Weil right in. Now Chris raises in. Weil calls instantly. Doesn't
I don't
even
know about
thinking
that
about
call.
it.
I mean, you're
Wow.
not really doing well against the range here. The clubs come in now, so that might just kill all action.
I would think Chris would be thrilled that the clubs come in because he's blocking so much of the value. But it turns out that's going to scare away any possible action he was going to get from Weil. I can't imagine Weil will ever call a bet here.
By the way, you were right. Will could have hit a 9 also.
Yeah,
We're
queens and 9s.
finally going to get there.
It was queens and 9s. I was just so happy that you said he could hit the case 6 to win, and I was like, no, he can't. I was too busy getting caught up in that.
Yeah, we got to.
I got one thing right.
At our
But
inescapably amateur Omaha skills.
yeah. Will usually takes a long time in these spots, no matter whether he folds or calls or whatever. But I can't really imagine him ever calling here.
I see no reason to call. It's so hard to find a bluff in a bomb pot, especially, and Weil doesn't even have a good bluff catcher.
I mean, he has a 6. That's the good thing. But he blocks full houses a little. And a 6 and a queen actually both block some full houses. But also in a bomb pot situation, you block less full houses, right? Because any combo of pocket 6s will always make it to the flop.
Right.
He's not really calling, is he? It looks like he's really thinking about this.
What's he putting his opponent on if he's calling?
4, 5?
A wrap? A missed wrap?
But yeah, okay. Which raises the turn. He does call. Wait, is that?
Wow.
He calls. Wow. He loses to all combos of Chris's cards, basically. Chris makes the flush and has the full house. And Will shows a 6. I don't know why. Will knows he's lost. That is a really surprising play. Will almost always folds there. And hold on.
I just can't figure what he put Chris on. I mean, if Chris had clubs, which he actually did, but if he had just clubs to win, he got there. So I don't really know what Will's hoping for.
He has to think Chris is raising the turn with a straight draw and then bluffing the river with it, which I just don't think is happening on a paired board in a Omaha bomb pot. I just don't think that's happening.
Not enough to call, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that Chris is, even if Chris like misses on the river with his straight draw, I don't know if he's betting it, honestly, once he gets his raise called on the turn and the club comes. Maybe tries to bluff with the clubs. Maybe. Trying to get a 3 to fold. Anyway, Will took a little bit of a hit there.
You just took the whole sitting down with you. How does it feel, Chris?
Yeah, they're still laughing.
Oh, friggin' town.
That's good. You
Yeah.
gotta have fun. Smile through the pain.
Surprise.
All right, we get to see Digital Dan play a hand.
In San Diego.
You know, let you shoot off fireworks if you go 5 miles east. It's like,
He's outflopped by Todd, but he should have a range advantage on this board. I expect Dan to take advantage of that, unless he thinks Todd's just never giving up on any board ever.
That's the one thing is you could just decide not to bluff Todd ever, right? You could just decide to
Well,
always,
it's not going to work now.
yeah. Just hope you don't hit a
Good
queen or
give
a
up.
jack if you're Dan.
Queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of.
Well, he might want to rep that. Spades come and the ace comes. If Todd checks, Dan might feel like he has to rep that. Or he might just try to take his winnings with the nut no pair, which is possible, but unlikely.
Dan is going to rep it. It's not crazy. I don't know if he's going to, I mean, can you get Todd to fold the 6 is the question, right? If Todd is going to fold the 6, at least this bet is reasonable. He obviously has no folds here. In fact, is that a raise?
It looks like it is. He's. I mean, you could get maybe called by an ace with your current rep as Todd.
Maybe.
The min raise is quite scary, though. It's a scary raise. If you have ace jack there in your Dan, you might just think the min raise is too enticing to consider calling because Todd looks like he wants a call.
Yes, he sure does. Also, I mean, check call, check, check, check raise is pretty strong.
It is strong, but if anybody's going to have a bluff
Yeah.
there at this table right now, it might be Todd.
That's a good
which
point.
is an advantage of his. It's an advantage of his style, but practically there, I think you actually have to raise more on the river if you want to give yourself a chance to get called by an ace, even though it seems counterintuitive. A player like Dan's going to put that together, I would think.
I mean, an ace probably just isn't calling on that board almost ever anyway. Even
Well, if
against
that's
Todd.
the case, then you can't really raise.
Yeah. I think because the spades come in. You know, the spades coming in really makes it tough. Anyway, here's Laminator with the Jekylls.
What are the hides?
2 kings, baby. 2 kings. And Wonka will
It's
not
60.
will not fight.
Oh, we're on break. JJ.
Well, I guess we can take it downstairs.
We are back to take a look at how these players are doing. Laminator, the big winner, although Dan and Chris similar. Todd, Wonka, and Jake, and Weil, all
Yeah.
taking the brunt of it right now.
Wheel was really just that one hand where he called, 450 on the river, just in that bomb pot. That bomb pot really cost him pretty much all of his losses right now. But he's got 2 tens, and that's got to be
Yeah, he's
nice.
got an opportunity.
What I'm hoping for is this
Really
cumulative
love-
winning stays up the entire hand.
I would love
I
that.
think it might. I don't know. I'm concerned that it might. Usually will have gone away by now. The interns seem to have screwed this one up. All right, well, now I'm hoping the hand is over quickly, but Todd's going to... Oh, there we go. Great. Great job, everybody.
We made it through.
Todd defends his button with King Six of Hearts to a really big raise, by the way. Wheel making it 60. Well, a little something for Dan Ross. Will Todd talk himself into calling with his 2 back doors? These are my questions.
He might talk himself into raising,
I was gonna say it's not rim.
but Wheel bets more than pot.
Really?
Looks like 225 into 185.
Wow.
Yeah. If this chases away Dan Ross's 4, then it's a problem, and
Yeah.
it does. You have to want action from worse hands with a hand like tens there. You don't have to just deny equity against king queen. Like you need to get called by the weaker hands.
You see how easily Dan Ross folded that too? And I know it's just
Yeah.
bottom pair, no kicker, but he's also got 2 back doors. That's a hand he's calling with to any reasonable bet. But as soon as the bet is that big, he just sort of knows where he's at. And he's right. He can just comfortably fold against wheels over what is almost certainly ace 9 or better, right?
Yeah.
I'm really jealous that Josh came here and got to play in tiny.
Sometimes Wheel is bluffing there to give him credit, but
Not very often.
that doesn't outweigh the missed value when hands like a 4 will fold easily.
No, on Tuesdays.
Yeah, like at least make Dan sit there for a minute and a half and then fold and be unhappy about it, you know? So he is like putting him in trouble. Like if Dan ends up making the right decision, but it's hard, good. If it's easy, that's a real problem. And that's what we saw there, was Dan just folded comfortably.
I agree with his philosophy, having not been there.
You're supposed to make it hard on your opponents in poker, right? Like they're supposed to be perplexed a lot if you're doing it right.
I mean, that's like never. I don't think there's every time that
You were barely ahead. You were barely
There's
ahead.
never been a walk. I think we played.
We've had very few walks. That's true.
I would take the walk there
At ace
with
queen,
ace king.
so.
Hey, Chris. Shut up. Okay. Fair.
Is this the future of poker, Grant? Just everyone's going to wear masks and
No, it is not.
great.
It is the near future of poker,
Okay.
not the far future. That is my estimation.
I'm hoping that's correct. That makes sense. Wow, Chris going full mask.
Can you see?
I mean, he's at least pretending to. Nope, guess not.
Blue Man Group.
yeah.
Oh, shit,
I
it's
don't know,
gonna
man.
look again.
They got some players back. It's not gonna be a huge surprise if they go to a heater.
Well,
Didn't we lose someone though? Who did the Blazers lose? Someone opted out, didn't they?
Ariza.
Ariza opted out.
3 players.
Dan did fold the button. We don't know what the blinds have here, but it looks like we have a 3-way pot. Wheel just limps the ace-queen, huh? Okay.
Very strange.
Well, he flops amazingly well.
Right, Howard said he won.
He really, really does. He has a suited ace queen. He just limps it from the small blind. Really strange.
Well, he might have
decision.
folded everybody out instead of getting this monster flop.
True.
Whiffs the turn. Still, Digital Dan has the best hand still.
I mean, he might have folded everyone out, but it's okay to fold everyone out when you're in the small blind with ace queen. Also,
I know. I was
initial
just saying from a results-oriented perspective, he
Right.
flopped so well. And now he has the nuts.
I mean, Dan had the most equity on the turn, but as we said, Will now has the nuts anyway. But is Will going to get any money? He's just going to...
Dan could put Wheel on a 4,
Nah.
but he wisely does not.
Todd is pretending to think. Can't call,
No, I
obviously.
think he raised. There's money out there. I think
Oh.
he raised.
Okay. Well, you know what? He's got a club in his hand. I don't hate this. He's also got the 7 of clubs is a nice blocker in 2 different ways, but bad news for Todd. It's not going to work.
No, not against the nuts. Bad timing for Todd. That could have worked in a lot of spots. Wheel could have a hand like a 5 or a 4 there.
Yeah.
And be betting.
I don't hate that with the 7 of the clubs in your hand, and based on the action also, where it like went checked all the way through twice. You don't think flush draws seems so unlikely.
That was a reasonable shot at an unfortunate time by Todd.
Yeah. So Todd, it's too bad for Todd. He's raising the river when he's got trip deuces and his opponent has nothing. He's also raising the river when his opponent has the nuts. So he's not getting value at either time, basically, so far. But he's trying, which is like that last one. It was an admirable attempt.
A month ago, people that have nothing to do that are those professionals, and they just.
Now it looks like he min-raised the ace-5 off.
Keep him guessing.
Well, no,
That's what we
I
say.
guess so.
but the sports. I'm talking about the guys who set. I'm talking about the guys who set the line.
Eliminator can't fold the king 7 to $10, of course.
That would seem way too tight, at least in this current era. Who knows how we'll feel in a little bit. Everyone flops something here.
Those guys would never bet on ping pong.
Some nice straight draws. And Todd with bottom pair.
Eliminator just comes out betting.
Shit, they found me out.
Awesome, thank you. Wait, can we bring it back here?
Did Todd raise? No, he called.
Eat right now?
Digital Dan just lets it go, huh? I guess there's... I'm surprised.
I mean, he doesn't have he has no backdoor flush draw or anything. He just has a gut shot.
And overs.
There's no rules against.
It's a pretty coordinated board. Eliminator could have a lot of things that have him in deep trouble.
That's true. Maybe if there's one diamond on there, he's
Eliminator.
calling. Well,
Well,
Eliminator
Todd's
is,
not going to fold now.
if he ever was, Eliminator does not try it. Eliminator sort of gets like... Eliminator did great, though. He spent $60 and got turn in river for $60. That's pretty good against this opponent, I think.
It is pretty good. He could have spent less if he was deciding to bet the flop. He did bet pot on the flop where
Yeah.
he really didn't have to.
That is a great point. He could have bet $35 and seen turn in river probably just as easily. Anyway, Todd shows the best hand just by showing any card.
Finally gets one. He finally gets one with, I guess, semi-showdown, sort of. He did show his hand down, though it's not really a
Showed
showdown.
only one of his cards, though. So it's again semi-showdown. Semi-showdown in so many ways. It's like a quasi-showdown, a quarter showdown. It makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
Is that what the kids mean when they say getting quartered?
Isn't it what they mean? And maybe they're
Yeah.
referring to the ancient medieval practice of quartering, which is where you take
Yes.
a quarter and you throw it at somebody. Not hard.
Yep.
Just lightly. Just a little bit. Just so, they feel someone's there.
Those abundant American quarters in ancient medieval times.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be sarcastic about it. Obviously, they weren't American quarters. They were medieval quarters.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, here we go. Top pair for Digital Dan. No one has a diamond. Chris says, sayonara. On to the next.
It's gonna take me like 5 minutes to shuffle these cards. So. At least get 2 bites in there.
I feel like that's something Jesse May would say. What you just your sentence you just said.
Don't you think right there, Digital Dan is just like laughing inside because he knows he's got it. He knows he's top pair there. He knows he's got it. It's my Jesse May.
That's pretty good.
I actually feel amazing about that. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I encourage people to watch a little Jesse May and tell me that isn't what he sounds like all the time. I'm going to do a little more as we go today, I think. Now I'm into it. Just a little bit. We don't only have another 10 minutes or so, but it's really on the flop. He has to know sort of like where people are at, and then he talks as if it's super obvious that that's where those people are at and definitely what they're feeling. It's like a big part of Jesse May's thing. But in that it's really amusing that they're doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah, that's his move.
Yeah.
Got a top pair here for the digital one.
And second pair for
with
Chris.
A gut shot.
I mean, how nice to be able to bet into 5 players and just be good.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 spades out there. This is mostly for equity denial. I think sometimes you can get called by a queen. Maybe Chris is too early. Nope, he is deciding it's good enough. Gonna make the call.
It's tough. He's going to be out of position for the rest of the hand. He may get a free card here.
Depends on if Dan wants to continue charging spades or if he thinks he's just valuing himself by betting.
There's the relatively safe river.
King 10 is a possibility, but an unlikely one for Chris to have.
King 10 is spades, and that's going to raise sometimes. Dan just checks, really not wanting to value himself there. That was close. Do you think there's value to be had in betting ace-6 there on the river when Chris checks again? He's usually going to bet an ace.
I would be... It's hard to find value there. You have to get called by a queen, which is hard to do on that run out, I think. Maybe the move is to bet like $20. Just like try to just squeeze the easiest bit out.
Yeah, maybe. Looks like they're going to another bomb pot here.
Let's see if we get the not the analysis even, but just like what people need to hit to win.
That'd be great. By the way, the equities, the percentages and stuff like that, once we know the hands, are up on the left. So we should use that as a tool. It might help. It helped me as I was doing it last time. I was like, Dan Ross has trip threes, but he's only 1 in 1,000 to win. Wheel with queens here.
That's a terrible hand, though, unless he hits a queen.
Of course. Well, we know Jake Dahl is top pair. We don't really know anything else yet because no one is showing their cards to the reader or the reader's not picking them up. There's mass confusion.
I'm going to go with option A, considering all of the other hands.
This is like about 27 minutes into the movie Cloverfield right now. The Statue of Liberty's head has just landed on Broadway, and everyone's freaking out, but they just don't know what's going on. Hey, here we go.
Looks like Digital Dan has the most equity, with the king, queen of clubs being the majority of that equity.
Dan Ross has a nice hand, too, with top and bottom.
Maybe because I trust everybody at the table.
The first rule,
But
you pick up your card.
There's a lot of people in Portland.
So Dan could hit a jack for a straight as well because he has a 10.
Yeah, he's got the monster.
And he just gets it all the way through. Dan Ross just folds.
Wow. Dan Ross played more of these bomb pots than we have, that's for sure. I've never played an Omaha bomb pot in my life. Certainly played normal bomb pots. But I trust him if he decides that that's a fold. He folded last time, too, with trip threes, and he was right both times. I mean, I guess he was ahead this time, but it was perfectly fine to fold.
Yeah, I don't think there's any sort of secret sauce here. I think the answer when it comes to these Omaha bomb pots is be really, really tight.
Yeah.
and pedal the nuts basically.
Yeah, or have the nut blocker and be up against the right opponent.
Yeah.
Those are your two options.
Right. If you have the nut blocker against the right opponent, you can win the hand no matter what. But other than that, you basically want to pedal the nuts. It seems like, and just like operate way tighter than you would normally operate.
Yeah. And we're back to regular sauce, the ketchup of the poker world.
That's not fair to ketchup. Just the same way that people use vanilla to mean plain. Vanilla is a wonderful, nuanced flavor.
Is ketchup a wonderful nuanced flavor now?
You know what? Some local organic ketchups have really caught my eye recently, and they've made my blog.
First of all,
Grant goes to dinner.
it's pronounced catsup. First of all, second of all, Grant Goes to Dinner is wonderful, and it is essential reading for anyone who's
It's kind of like a feel good read in tough times,
Absolutely. All right. Well, we got bottom 2 for Jake Dahl. We have wheel with bottom pair and a gutter. Nothing at all for Todd. Why do I feel like Todd's going to put more money in, though? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, it checks through and wheel gets
wrong.
there. Well, there might be some money to be won here for wheel.
Jake has been playing incredibly tight throughout this session, though.
But for $30, he just has to call this.
Yeah, he's got to.
He's going to, if wheel bets again on the river, I think, the diamond comes in too. This is probably going to be an easier fold for Jake. Assuming
That should help Jake.
Wheel does not even
Wheel
bet.
just checks it back.
Wow.
I
Well,
mean,
he wasn't going to get value.
It is tough. It is tough to think of hands that you can get value from.
Yeah.
There was no raised pre-flop, so Jake doesn't have a ton of sets.
Oh, he could have really put him in the torture machine that time, though. I don't know. I'm sort of doing like almost a Jesse made, but I didn't do the voice or the happiness or really the kind of thing he says.
Yeah, that was just the opposite of last time, where you did
Yeah.
a very bad job that time.
I
Very
agree.
bad.
No, I agree. It's because I realized we're running out of time. Like, I have to get another Jesse May thing, and I said I was going to. I guess it's not going to happen. It'll have to be next
No, I think
episode.
you've broken it. You gave yourself
No,
the
I can
yips
do it.
by overhyping it.
Oh, yeah, that messes me up. It gets in my head,
It's like the Dan Shack voice, it comes and goes.
Yeah. I can reach Jesse May's voice whenever I want, but it's what he says is the tougher part for me. It's content. Anyway, this is the last hand, I'm being told, by
No.
Eleanor. Eleanor is letting me. Yes, Eleanor is signaling.
Already?
Last hand. I know it goes
Okay.
fast. It goes fast.
I guess we'll just have to look forward to next week then.
Yep. There will be next week. Nothing for anybody? Somehow?
Backdoor nut flush draw for Laminator.
Okay, sure. Hey, that's something for some people. Laminator and Jake Dahl. Boy, we just haven't seen Jake Dahl win many hands, have we?
No. And there's the big bet from Laminator. It seems to be a theme for him. 55 into 40. It's going to work out this time.
I'm surprised Jake called, actually. Jake's been so tight. Maybe he's feeling the lack of winning pots also. With guys behind him, I'm really surprised he called there.
It's actually 60 apparently.
Laminator really can't bet again now either. He bets so much.
No. Probably going to go check, and Laminator's going to be our final victor of the evening. But we will be back next week with some more poker time.
Hell
See you guys
yeah.
then.